How's it going there, folks? I'm Quinn of Snazzy Labs, and this is the video review of the Sennheiser HD428 headphones. Now, these retail for $89 US, but you're never actually going to pay that price unless you buy directly from Sennheiser or from a brick and mortar location. On Amazon and a couple of other places on the net, it's as cheap as 40 to 50 bucks, and I actually got my pair for a mere $18 on Black Friday. Granted, these are a pair of refurbished cans. Nonetheless, they do offer some pretty excellent sound quality considering the price, so long as you can get past the rather shoddy build quality. Now, Sennheiser has never been well known for creating incredibly well-built cans. However, they are notorious for having very, very ugly headphones, and I'm happy to report that the Sennheiser HD428 kind of breaks this trend. As you can see, there's a rubberized cup right here, which is very, very nice. There's a Sennheiser logo, which is present, but not in your face, and there's a very, very nice steel band, which outlies the rest of the headphone. It is one of the better looking headphones in this price range, and it's pretty awesome to see that Sennheiser's kind of getting into the game of better looking headphones. However, just because they're good looking doesn't mean they're well built, and unfortunately the HD Sennheiser 428 lack in this regard pretty drastically because of a couple things. Now, first of all, the plastic that the HD428s are built out of is actually pretty nice. You can see a Sennheiser logo is emblazoned in here, and there is a soft touch plastic which does have a certain aesthetic to it. And it is rather flexible, so it can conform to heads of all sizes. However, the ear pads, which I find to be pretty important in over-ear headphones, are pretty wretched. After about half an hour to 45 minutes of listening, I found them to get itchy and warm and hot and just generally uncomfortable. This is something that's a real big bummer in headphones this price range, because once you get into the $50, $60 price range, you shouldn't have to deal with lousy ear pads. They should come by stock, and on these headphones, they just don't. Now, it's okay most of the time because these are relatively light and they are relatively loose fitting on your ears. So they're never going to be tight and against your head uncomfortable, but they will get itchy, which is something to note and something that I certainly found to be distracting. Last but certainly not least, the cable you see here is not the stock cable. The stock cable is probably the most wretched cable I've ever dealt with in my headphone career. I was just absolutely amazed at how bad it was, especially considering Sennheiser's really high reputation when it comes to components. This was a $25 aftermarket cable that I had Performance Audio install. I had these recabled. I wouldn't have these headphones any other way. Imagine the thinnest iPod headphone white cable you've ever seen, divided in half, and you're not even close. It is the thinnest cable I've ever seen on a pair of headphones. Shielding must have been almost non-existent because I could imagine just pinching the cord and having the headphones stop working. It really was bad, and there are reviews online to reflect this. A lot of people said after just a couple days, their headphone cables stopped working, which is certainly something that should piss you off, and I don't know why Sennheiser went with such a thin cable. So I got these recabled. It did cost 25 bucks, and this is a seriously pro cable, which is not going to give me any trouble. But again, this is something that I had to go to the effort of doing, and this does not come stock. So the build quality on these headphones is pretty shoddy, but luckily the sound does make up for it. Now, soundstage is nothing to be certainly amazed by. It's nothing too horrible, and it was present. It was all right for a closed back headphone in this price range, but it's certainly not going to match some of the better headphones like the Audio-Technica ATH M50s and the Shure SRH 840. So, it's just something to be aware of. The soundstage wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. And in a headphone this price range, you shouldn't really expect it unless it's an open-backed headphone anyway. That being said, though, instrument separation and imaging was very, very good. The vocals really stood out in the 428s, which is something I really appreciate in a sub $100 pair of headphones, and they really did offer a pretty flat response. It did roll off ever so slightly in the top of the trebles, which slightly annoyed me. However, there is not a super emphasis on the bass. The bass is fast though, the bass is present, and if you need the bass to rattle your head, this can provide that. However, it is not all bass, and it's not gonna slow down the rest of the track, which is something really, really nice. The bass was fast, the bass was responsive, and the bass was accurate, which is something I really enjoyed. The mids were luscious and smooth, and they offered really accurate reproduction, which led to some amazing vocals, like I stated earlier. And the trebles were very, very nice. They were never piercing, they were never fatiguing. This is just really generally a really nice headphone to listen to. Usually when I'm trying headphones in the sub $100 range, I think, okay, give me my good headphones back, and I really didn't feel that with the HD428s. I was never wowed by the sound quality of these, but I felt that they were really, really well-rounded overall, and they offered some excellent sound reproduction that was pretty accurate to the track. However, never fatiguing. It was always very pleasurable to listen to. Like I stated earlier, vocal separation and instrument separation is top-notch. Vocals stood out, both male and female, making it a very, very amazing experience to listen to because you don't find that in a lot of sub-$100 headphones. And additionally, separation was really good. I could find a lot of details that I don't usually find in sub-$100 headphones, which is something I was really, really happy to see. Overall, the sound quality in the HD428s is excellent, and it's going to be almost as good as headphones twice the price, like the Audio-Technica ATH M50 and the Shure SR840s. It's not quite as good. In fact, it's not really anywhere near as close, but those headphones are double the price. This is far good enough for a $50 to $60 headphone in terms of sound. But we do come back to the problem with build quality. If you're going to be using these, if they're going to be out and about, if they're going to be under even some slightly rigorous conditions, you might experience some serious issues. The build quality overall isn't that great, and the cable by stock is absolutely wretched. So my final review for these is going to have to be a 6 out of 10, unfortunately. The sound is there, but the build quality is not. And in a headphone that you're going to be taking around town, that to me is vital, and these didn't quite hit my marks. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, rate, comment, and as always, stay snazzy. See you later, folks.